Thank you for joining me on another episode of Crazy Random Cool. I'm your host, Tony, and I have my favorite guest, Carla, in the house. Say hey.
Hey, hello.
You should be my co-host. We talk about this like all the time, and you're always like, nah.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, the topic of this week is the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock debacle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really mad. I just have to say this because I literally have wanted to do a Will and Jada episode forever, and no one would do it with me. I'm really hoping that like Keenan and Danny and all these other people I've asked to do this episode with me are listening right now, because I like Will and Jada, I'm on that all the time, right? Because like I always watch their interviews. I feel like I know them. Like he's my cousin.
Oh my God.
No, I do. I feel like when he turned 50 and he bungee jumped over the Grand Canyon, like I follow him on everything on social media. Like I watch all their interviews, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how far I'm supposed to go with all that, but I just remember that I was watching this one interview, it was a conversation between the two of them, right? I think it was Red Table Talk. And she was talking about how when he was filming Karate Kid, I think it was in China, and his oldest son, was playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And he would literally fly home from China just so he could make sure that he would make it to his son's football games. And then him and Jaden, the youngest one, because he was filming the movie with him, would fly back to China, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what really, really bugged me about that is she had this attitude. She was like, that was a tough time. And she didn't really say anything, right? Like she was just like, yeah, that was a tough time in our marriage. And to me, like, there's probably more to it. I don't know. I wasn't there. But you have a man talking about how hard he's working to make sure he supports both of his sons in their dreams. And the only thing she could come up with was, yeah, that was a tough time. I'm like, you're going to need to understand how you sound right now, Missy. Like, you're going to need to like give us some background and let us know there was something else going on that made it a tough time. Because Will Smith not being able to be there for you or whatever you were going through because he was supporting his two sons, I'm going to need you to have a seat.
And actually, as everybody would say, several seats.
So I can go on and on talking about them, but we're not going to do that. We are going to talk about the day that Will Smith woke up and chose violence.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We got to.
Okay.
I'm still tripping over it. I know I'm like so many days late to the party, but I'm sorry that my podcast is on Friday.
Right.
And it's not on Monday, the day after the Oscars. It is what it is. And I thought that this would put me at a good advantage because, people have been talking about it all week and I needed to figure out how I felt about it. Do you know how you feel about it?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like he overreacted because it just was not necessary. I feel like people joke all the time, and I just think it wasn't worth getting up on the stage to bitch slap somebody. Not only did you just not punch him, you bitch slapped him. Like, who bitch slaps a host? I've never even, like the guys I know, everybody throws punches, but there's not many that throw slaps. So I was questioning the move myself because it was like, wow. And I wasn't even watching the Oscars. I actually don't watch a whole lot of TV anyway. And so I was like on the Shade Room or something, Instagram, something. And then it was like, is this real? And then they started showing the videos online. I'm like, is this for real? Did he really do that? And I knew he was for real when I heard, like he was cussing. Keep my wife's fucking name. And I was like, ooh, tough guy.
Wait a minute. You didn't think it was for real when Chris Rock was like, okay, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. Like,
well, no, the thing was, I didn't know if it was just hard for me to believe. When you think about Will, even though we don't know him, his character is not naturally a violent character. So it was like, can they have staged this just for fun? You know, because it just doesn't make sense. But when he sat back down and said, keep your wife's name out my fucking mouth, out your fucking mouth, I was like, oh, wow. So he's really upset about that. I thought it was pretty funny myself, but
Well, you know what I always remember, like, because I'm the same way. Like I was very disappointed because Will Smith is just one of those people, right? That he has the discipline, he has the hard work, and he just keeps coming and he gives it everything that he has. And I have a lot of respect. Well, I did have a lot of respect for him, So I was really surprised. But the first thing I thought of is when everybody was talking whatever about Bill Cosby, right? And like, I can't believe Bill Cosby would do this. I can't believe blah, blah. And Dave Chappelle was like, Bill Cosby has done a lot of great things, but a lot of people forget that he's just from Philly.
Right.
So Will is from Philly. And
yeah.
I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because his pimp hand showed up at the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And then have you caught the view, though, of Jada laughing?
No, they have that?
Oh, my God. Yes. They was like, the view you can't, like, on social media since yesterday, it's like the view you didn't see of Jada. So there's a video of her and you see the behind of her and she's giggling after, like, he came back and sat down.
Oh, you know that she was giggling because her son tweeted, "That's how we do," or something. What did he? I can't remember. But it basically was like, I mean, if your son is comfortable enough to tweet that, then, I mean, that must be the consensus of the household.
They're a different kind of family anyway. So the dynamics of how they are is very different. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like he had to have some other dynamics going on that day. And he used that situation to kind of go from, like just get up and just act out of it. But what had me thrown was just he laughed, then looked at Jada, then got up. And, Chris is looking like, and what I liked about him was he just stood there. It was like, I'm not about to go run because he's coming and, this is live television. So he stood there like, whatever you're going to say, I'm here. I'm manning up. You know what I mean? I appreciate that he didn't, but he was the real MVP on this because he actually just stood there and he just was like, wow. He handled it well because I really feel like if that was The Rock, if it was Kevin Hart, like I think this would have went really different if somebody else was standing up there that he punched.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think a lot of people, I don't know, for whatever reason, a lot of people probably just don't give Chris Rock his just due. I mean, he's from Brooklyn, right? Like, I'm sure, I don't care what people are trying to say. Like, I'm sure he can get the job done if he really needed to. So we're not even going to like clown Chris Rock because at the end of the day, what he did do was be a man about it.
He stayed professional.
He stayed professional because it could have got dirty.
It could have got bad. But he was just like, I won't say it again. But I think when he saw the seriousness of Will, it was like, okay, I don't know what's going on with him. I'ma just chill. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew, like, okay, he's upset for real. But then what's crazy is that all of his sales and for his comedy stuff sold out, like after that.
I know that. And this is how you know it's not a joke and you know that he's still shook about it is because, he basically was like, I'm not even ready to talk about it yet. But, maybe it'll be funny when I am. But right now, you know, like literally, I think one of the first things he said was how was y'all's weekend or something like.
Oh, okay.
But he hasn't really talked about it. And you know Chris Rock, like he can't wait for good material. But if he's not ready to talk about it, that means he's still shook. And I don't blame him.
Well, I think he's just trying to find the right words, because you got to think they knew each other at some level. And this is where there's that background that we really don't know. Like, people like, oh, you know, they were friends. And, you know, just because we're in the industry doesn't make us friends. Just because we take pictures together sometimes when we're out doesn't make them friends either. I've never known Will Smith to be, like, from what I knew, you know how like The Rock and Kevin Hart are like really good friends. Like, I don't know for Will Smith to be that close with Chris Rock. I'm not aware of a friendship, because people are saying they're friends and he knew and this and that. And I'm just like, whether he knew or not, he's a comedian. So I feel like the joke was, he wasn't saying Jada was ugly. All he was saying was that her haircut is similar to, you know, he didn't bring up August. Now, I think that would have been wrong.
But you did see that's another thing that's kind of making me mad too, is that they're bringing up the Chris Rock joke from 2016, which is very relevant to what was happening at the time. It wasn't like he went for her. It was, you know, it was a relevant joke to what was happening at the time. But anyway, I won't even get into that. But what really frustrates me is like they went for like Chris Rock's history, but they didn't really go for the fact that earlier in the evening, Regina Hall made a joke about their open marriage. So he laughed way too hard about that. And I was just like, oh, he's uncomfortable. And so, like, who knows, like, what he had heard or what people had said and how he was feeling when Chris Rock made that joke. Like, everyone's trying to make it seem like, oh, they have history. But it could be because people had been making jokes about his relationship or his marriage all night. And that was the last straw. We don't know that.
I think he's probably been going through it. I think that August thing was such an embarrassment. And I think with him, he knew about it. You know, him and Jada had already been past it. But now that it's out there, I'm sure he's kind of like, you fucking fuck with this little stupid ass young dude. Now our business is in the street. I am humiliated and embarrassed. So let's go ahead and get on Table Talk and talk it through, since this is what people really want to hear. The ratings are going to go up. Everybody's going to want to watch this one show to see.
I don't think that's what it is. Honestly, like, I think that somehow, I don't want to use the word manipulate. I don't. But somehow, whatever relationship they have, she's like, I'm dying out here. Don't throw me under the bus. And I think he kind of came to her aid. But they're if you really pay attention to their interviews, they're very cryptic, right? So Will Smith, you know, in that talk, he said, I was done with you, you know, and she was like, you were done with me. And there's another time in another interview, I remember when he said he suggested divorce because he's used to traditional marriage and that's what makes him happy and comfortable. And because she had, you know, what is it called? Untraditional relationships in her family that she was familiar with, she suggested it to him. So to me, it says a lot that she was the one that made the suggestion on the open marriage. She didn't want to get a divorce. And she, to date, is the only one that has that we can prove has actually slept with someone else. No one's stepped up and said they had sex with Will while they've been married.
Let me tell you, Will is going to be set up just like how Beyonce. Ain't nobody figured out what happened on the elevator. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like when people have those signed disclosures like Diddy, see those real high-end people like that, I'm sure whatever Will does and how he moves, he's got signed disclosures or people are paid very well. And when you're like that, you're quiet. You get the right one. You can't be like Tiger or, you know, and just have these chicks and they're all coming out the wood. You know what I'm saying? That's not like the look. So I think he moves a little different. But I think whatever caused Jada, she was in a different place to deal with him. So,
well, that's another thing. Supposedly, like they have an open marriage. Everyone keeps saying that. But then, you know, she said that the whole August thing happened when they were separated.
Right.
It's like, you have to really pay attention. Like, to me, if you kind of follow some of the stuff that they said, like even in his book, right? He said that there was a time after his divorce, I think before he married Jada, that everyone's like, you're successful, you're this, you're Will Smith. And so he was sleeping around a lot. And he said to the point that he got ill because that's not who he is. I think he's been saying that's not who I am. I mean, I think he's been doing these interviews and writing this stuff because he's trying to let people know, like, nah, I'm just not out here willy-nilly around, like this. I think he doesn't want to throw her under the bus, but I think it's her. She has a lot of resentment for him. And did I tell you that Gwyneth Paltrow said that Jada told her that he has a small dick?
No.
So anyway, I'm trying my best.
I didn't hear nothing about that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we don't really get to see it, right? Like, I watch the interviews. I know all the cryptic messages or whatever that I'm sorting through. But I think that in Hollywood, there is a level of disrespect that people have for Will Smith and his relationship.
And that could be it because everybody, but see, they've never come out and confirmed that they're in an open relationship. The only thing they said is, I support them doing whatever that is that makes them happy, which could be whatever. I mean, if you want to be with somebody, be with, you know what I'm saying? They're just saying it is what it is. And when you're in a relationship for sure, at least 20 years in Hollywood, who stays married? You have such access to, number one, people that regular people can't even get to every day. I can't imagine the men that I could touch if I was in Hollywood. But that's a whole nother podcast. But the point is that, like, I think celebrities, they travel, they're away from each other. It creates a lot when they're acting, you're getting close and intimate with people on levels when you're doing movies and different stuff. So, I mean, it's almost inevitable. The only person I know for sure is Denzel because he's so God focused, and Denzel is just like not about the games. You know what I'm saying? And he's been with his wife forever. But again, it's about the values and what's important to both people. So, it's different. So
no, I completely agree. I really feel like I don't know. I know that there's more going on and I think that she's been unhappy with him for a really long time. If you really pay attention, she says stuff, the way she looks at him sometimes the way they move, you can tell that the unhappiness is there and he's trying. And I don't know, at some points he's probably given up or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, I would love to keep talking about their relationship because I love talking about their relationship, but we have to get back to this. So I was watching this video about how they kind of break down everything that happened that night. Mm-hmm. But this is like the most interesting part to me because we definitely have to talk about like the whole alopecia thing.
Oh my God.
Now at this point I can only laugh.
What did you say?
Now at this point I can only laugh.
That is her.
Okay.
When she is talking about shaving her head, she's like, at this point, I can only laugh, because she's like, it is what it is. Like, she had accepted it and she was like, this is, what it's going to be. She was comfortable with her shaved head. So why are we making fun of it now? Like, why is the G.I. Jane joke making fun of alopecia? Why is it not, okay, we rocking the bald head, G.I. Jane, badass military woman that, wasn't taking no whatever. And it's like, girl, you got this. Like, why did we not take it that way? Why was it like we're making fun of her alopecia? Because there was nothing in what he said that indicated that that's where he was going with it. Everyone assumed that's where he was going with it.
See, I don't think that it was the alopecia thing, but what I also need people to understand, if she were to have cancer or whatever, when people think about women with bald heads, it's automatically she must have some type of disease or some type of illness to create her for having her bald head. But Jada's always been known for having short hair. So for me, honestly, I didn't even know she had alopecia. So that didn't even catch my screen on social media in the last X amount of months. And I'm on social media, and I did not want to know that she even had it. I don't think that was his perspective. I don't think he was trying to attack her with that. He was just saying her bald head resembles G.I. Jane, a hard, tough cookie, because everybody knows Jada for being a boisterous, from, the hood kind of, chick. So I didn't even get that.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm really tripping on too, is that everyone just automatically defaulted to that when she always has had a really low haircut. Like, I literally asked around and everyone's like, oh, so what was the joke? And then you explain, it's like, oh, she has alopecia. Nobody knew. And I'm so tired of people being like, oh, it was posted or she had a video about it. It don't matter if she had a video about it if nobody watched it. Like, nobody's watching her videos the way no one's watching Red Table Talk. Like, why do we not understand that? Like, when is the last time, like, everybody's like, oh, she posted a video, but it's like, when was the last time you don't follow Jada? Like,
no, I don't. But
exactly. No one follows Jada. Like, Will is the star. Nobody is checking for Jada. Like, literally, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, her followers are from anyway, her followers are checking for her. But a lot of people are not checking for Jada. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say nobody knew, but it's like, really, like, how many people are going to scroll and be like, ooh, Jada has a video. Let me see what that's about. Zero.
Well, I think she has a certain audience, and I would say that 50 and up crowd, I would say, would probably be following Jada. And and if I was gonna go lower, maybe 45 and up. But when I asked my mom, and we're talking about a woman almost 70, she's like, oh yeah, Jada had that. Now my mom watches TV. She's not on social media whatsoever, but she knew. But I was telling her, I'm on social media and I ain't heard anything about it. So I had no clue about it.
I have not found one person that can tell me that they knew that she had alopecia before Sunday.
Well, I did. I asked a few people, but the audience was 50 plus. So, they knew. So I don't know. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And like, they're saying, oh, he's a comedian, he should do his research. But here's the thing about that to me is because she wears her hair like that all the time. Like, there was a time where she was in a rock band. Her daughter Willow has shaved her head way before now. I'm sure she did it this time in unison with her mom, but she's done it before. Like, the whole whip my hair thing. It was like her. I remember Will giving an interview about how she just decided she didn't want to sing anymore. And he was like, no, you started this business, you have to continue. And to make her statement that she didn't want to do it anymore, she shaved her head.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I just feel like all these people that don't really understand the history of the Smiths would not just just making the assumption that he went after her for the alopecia is just so crazy to me. It's like, there's so many other things about her. Like, when she was on Gotham, like, everything that she plays, everything that she does, her rock band, she's just an edgy chick, period.
Yeah, I don't really know much about her I don't even really follow her. So I don't know, but I don't follow her or Will. So I don't know like what's going on. I can only go off of my own opinion. But the memes are just fully attacking her. Like, all the stuff I've seen all week has been attacking Jada. She's this, she's that. She, and it's like, wow.
Well, because I really think if you really do follow Will, he has a really strong work ethic. He's a good guy. I mean, most of the time when you have a guy like that turn out to do like an asshole thing, it's the woman behind him. people don't just change overnight. Like Will Smith is just a feel good guy, you know, and I don't even know how I feel about him now. You know, I'm trying my best to be like, okay, that's an isolated incident, but I'm so disappointed. I think I'm almost as disappointed in Will right now as I am when I found out that Martin Luther King cheated on Coretta Scott.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm hurt.
Stop it. I'm disappointed because he had a moment at the Oscars, and being Black, you know, we don't have very moments like that. And I feel like he had lost that moment by doing what he did. People now aren't going to look at him that way. He's talented. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his Oscar, whether he acted out of emotions or not. But then there also are consequences for your actions. So I think he knows he messed up. But again, in life, it's just certain things you just can't get back. I mean, hell, I'm sure Jada probably wishes she probably didn't mess with August after all of this stuff that occurred, you know?
Why? Because of all the stuff that occurred, or because he was her son's 25-year-old friend?
It was embarrassing, because it's one thing for you to deal with it with your husband, right? But now you're dealing with the world. So the scrutiny of everybody having opinions about stuff. And, you know, it's like, how do I finally address this? You know, and then I'm in the public eye. So it's just a lot. So I feel that Will just going through stuff, and maybe Will needs to be medicated. Maybe he's got some recent mental health issues. You know, we really just don't know. But I think he's still a human, and he is a man. We all make mistakes. I think people need to just kind of let it go. Now, I saw something, I think, earlier today, and it said that Chris Rock's brother
Tony Rock.
Yeah, that he rejected the apology of Will Smith.
No, that's not what happened. He said it didn't. Well, he said, I know they asked Tony if he thought it was, I don't know, a good apology or something. And he said no. But they said that a lot of people were saying that the two of them talked and they had worked things out. Tony said, no, that didn't happen either. He was very short in his answers, but he made it known that, you know, the apology was bullshit, which I feel too. I don't know how you feel about it, but
watch it. I didn't even watch it.
He posted it on Twitter, which is another bitch thing to do. I'm sorry about my language, but it's like, you smacked a man at a global event. I mean, and you issue an apology, like a statement on Twitter, on Instagram. Like, how hard is it to go live or record something so that at least, you know, you can make a real statement? I mean, I have so many things I want to talk about with regards to this, but I'm jumping subjects. But what really makes me mad is so many people that are supporting him are saying that, he was supporting his wife. Okay, so there are levels of support, right? And to me, if Chris Rock would have put his hands on Jada, if he would have called her out of her name, if he would have sexually made a pass at her, if he would have just done certain things, I could understand Will smacking the crap out of him. But you make a joke that's probably, I don't think he knew, but if he did know, that is in extremely poor taste. When people figured it out, he would have looked like the asshole, and you could have handled that later. But to do what he did over a joke, to me, it was just, it just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I most definitely agree. I didn't think that it called for him to get up. And again, we are at the Oscars. I feel like you could have had words with him after, on break. He could have got up. He could have went behind the stage, had some words with Chris. He didn't have to do that in person in front of everybody. So I just didn't think that was the time. But again, you don't know where that man's headspace is. You don't know what's going on. Will's been dealing with a lot, you know, in his life. I'm sure between him writing his book, Will's probably had a lot of internal things going on that he doesn't share and that people don't know.
I mean, I get that, but it's a long walk from your seat to the stage. I'm sorry. Like, he had time to think about what he was going to do. And I mean, he took the 30-second reach for his pimp hand to hit Chris Rock. Like, it wasn't, he thought about that. Like, it felt good to him. And then he walked back to his seat feeling good about himself. So, I mean, there's no way people are going to make me think like maybe it was temporary insanity or something, but somebody else was in Will Smith's body because he took that walk and he took the walk back and he was proud of himself. I'm sorry.
He probably was. But again, I don't know. So, I mean, in the defense, I mean, he's going through some things clearly, because I think a normal person, like if I was at the Oscars, I would think I'd be too scared to get up just to go to the bathroom. But to think to get up and walk straight to the stage, I definitely wouldn't have did that.
Well, the worst part about it is they're saying that, they asked him to leave and he wouldn't leave. So that's why I know that apology was bullshit, because he didn't feel bad about it. And then, he went out and he celebrated his Oscar after the fact. And I know I'm jumping subjects. I'm trying so hard not to. But, I'm just going back to what you said a minute ago, how it kind of tainted his Oscar. Screw that. Like, it tainted, Venus and Serena, their father. Like, how hard he worked for them. That's what he got the Oscar for, was in celebration of their father that has made these amazing tennis players. And it's like, now I have to think twice about even watching the movie. Like, I really wanted to watch it. So it's not even just about him as an actor. It's about these two amazing Black athletes and their father, who, despite all the whatever went on in his life, just was such a committed dad. And he was the one that sent that message to everybody, and then he tainted it.
Mm-hmm. No.
Girl, I'm mad.
Don't get mad. Let's stay on topic now.
I know. I just, and it's crazy because I was getting my ass handed to me on Twitter.
I believe.
And people were like really mad at me. I mean, this is like one of the things that I don't know. I just feel like it was legitimate. Like, I have higher expectations of Will Smith. And I'm not saying I don't think that he should have defended his wife. I'm not saying that if he really thought that that's where Chris Rock was coming from, that it shouldn't have gotten handled. It just shouldn't have gotten handled at that moment.
Right.
Like, the person that was getting a documentary that, Chris Rock, like, that joke would have been long forgotten.
Right.
This will never be forgotten. Like, all of the amazing people that got awards that night that people have to go back and look up now because their moment was stolen. I don't know. To me, there's a time and a place. And, even if he would have just hit Chris Rock up at a party and just been like, dude, I'm going to need to talk to you outside. Like, I don't even know how I would have felt about that, but it would have been better than what he did.
Well, if it's going to get you fame, success, more money, more interviews, and then people are going to look at Chris Rock and say, wow, I mean, I thought he was a joke, but now, I love the way he handled himself with Crazy Will. It will change some people's perspective about him.
Yeah. So I have to say, my favorite joke. Well, I have a few favorite jokes by Chris Rock, but I guess my favorite one is when he talks about how women date, so women hate to go backwards in lifestyle and men hate to go backwards in looks.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So once a woman officially becomes passport, she doesn't want to go back to traveling to visit her friend in Ohio.
You're stupid.
He's really funny. I think a lot of people that are making comments on both sides, right? Mm-hmm. On Will and on Chris, they just really don't know their history. And it's kind of sad because Chris, everybody that has kind of supported him has come out and said he's a sweet guy. Right. And, you know, he does like to roast people. If he sees something, he's going to go for it. But I don't think he's the type of person that ever like tries to hurt anybody. He's actually more in line to me with the comedians that try to make a statement, you know, that try to like, he'll make a political statement or he'll talk about like issues within the community. But I've never known him to just be like really, really rude to anybody.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for him.
I mean, of course you do. You're going to feel bad for everybody. That's just how you are.
Yeah, I do feel bad for Will too, but I don't feel bad for Jada.
You're stupid.
You know, if she had an Oscar, I'd be like, you need to take it, but she ain't never gonna have one. So
you are so mean.
All right, we should wrap.
Okay, well, let's wrap.
So hopefully I don't come back and talk about this again next week.
Let's hope not. Let's let this die and let something else come on and we can let this go finally.
But when Chris Rock finally does say something, I think I might have to come back and like talk about it.
I'm good with it.
All right, Carla. Thank you for listening to me. And thank everybody around for listening to Crazy Random Cool. And until next week.
All right.
Bye.